Thanksgiving always begins the same way at my mother-in-law's house. Too many dishes, too many voices layered over each other, smell of roasted turkey sitting in every corner of the kitchen. It's loud, warm, familiar, the kind of chaos people call tradition. My daughter usually stays close to me during the early part of the day. Her health condition makes long gatherings difficult, though most of the family has never fully understood that. They've heard the diagnosis. They've heard the explanations. But understanding and believing aren't always the same thing. That afternoon, she seemed steady. Quiet, but steady. She helped arrange napkins at the table and even laughed once when her cousin told a story about burning pumpkin pie the year before. Remember thinking, maybe this year will pass without a moment. We were halfway through dinner when it happened. Mother-in-law leaned back in her chair watching my daughter push a few bites of food around her plate. Her tone was light, almost playful. "Oh, honey," she said, smiling toward the table, "sometimes I think this whole health thing is just attention-seeking." Someone chuckled. Then someone else, not cruel laughter. Kind people release quickly when something uncomfortable is disguised as humor. I didn't look at my mother-in-law. Look at the table. I looked at my daughter. Her face didn't change much. That's what hurt the most. She had already learned how to hide the first reaction. She just lowered her eyes, pushed her chair back quietly, walked out of the room. No one stopped her. My husband didn't say anything. His fork hovered over his plate for a moment, then slowly returned to the turkey. The laughter faded, but the conversation tried to continue. Someone asked for the gravy. Someone else commented on the stuffing. I stood up without speaking and followed my daughter upstairs. Her bedroom door was half closed, knocked gently before pushing it open. She was sitting on the edge of the bed, staring at the floor. For a few seconds neither of us spoke. Then she asked the question I had been hearing more often lately. "People think I'm pretending." It wasn't angry, just tired. I sat beside her. "No," I said carefully. "Some people just don't understand things that aren't easy to see." She nodded. The way she folded her hands told me she didn't fully believe me. And in that moment I realized something simple. I walked back downstairs and let the evening continue like nothing had happened. She would remember that more than the joke itself. Stayed upstairs with her for a minute longer. Long enough for the house below to grow slightly quieter. Then I stood. "Come with me," I said. We walked downstairs together. Conversation slowed when we entered the dining room again. Not because anyone expected confrontation, more because people sensed something had shifted. Stopped beside the table and looked toward the end of it. "Dr. Patel," I said gently. He had been sitting there quietly all evening. Daughter's physician. We had invited him because he had mentioned earlier that week he'd be spending Thanksgiving alone while his family was overseas. Set down his glass. "Yes." I kept my voice calm. "Would you mind explaining something to the family?" The room went still, glanced at my daughter, then at me. His expression softened as he understood. He didn't lecture, he didn't raise his voice, simply explained. He talked about her condition, how symptoms often fluctuate. Patients are frequently accused of exaggerating before people understand the illness. He explained how dismissive comments can actually worsen stress-related symptoms. It took maybe 2 minutes. No one interrupted him. When he finished, the room had changed in a way that was impossible to ignore. My mother-in-law's smile was gone. She stared down at the tablecloth. My husband shifted in his chair like he wanted to say something but couldn't find the right place to start. No one laughed, add anything. I just nodded once toward Dr. Patel. Thank you. Then I turned to my daughter. Let's go sit upstairs for a bit. We left the table again. This time no one tried to restart the conversation immediately. The house felt strangely quiet behind us. Upstairs, my daughter sat beside me on the bed. After a while she asked softly, "He say all that so people understand?" I said. She thought about that. Her expression didn't transform into relief or happiness. Real life doesn't move that quickly. But she didn't ask the question again. Downstairs, in the quiet that followed, everyone in that house understood something that hadn't been clear before. Her dignity was not a joke anymore.